recording live from Glory Hole Studios in Chicago and beyond. This is Cognitive Dissonance. Every episode we blast anyone who gets in our way. We bring critical thinking, skepticism, and irreverence to any topic that makes the news, makes it big, or makes us mad. It's skeptical, it's political, and there is no vaping in the theater.
Fucking A, man. Who's gonna vape in a theater? That's so rude.
Dude, that lady, Lord Boebert, I finally watched the video.
Sure.
So I had not watched
explain what happens, because some people might be behind.
So Lord Boebert goes to watch the Beetlejuice theatrical production. It's like a musical.
It's a musical, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I've never heard of it.
I would love to see it,
That
actually.
sounds like it'd be a hoot.
I think it sounds great. Now that I know it exists, it's on my list of
You
things to do.
sprinkle the dust on one guy's head, it shrinks, her boobs grow. It's like...
So she goes and she's on a date with this guy.
Yeah. Democrat, by the way.
A Democrat, by the way.
Democrat who holds drag queen like brunches at his establishment.
Oh, does he really?
Yeah, like something like that I read today.
I did read today, too, that they are now broken up.
Yeah,
she's like, we're not going to have any more dates. We're not going to have any more dates. So, but she's on a date with this guy. Fine, great. Do not care, right? Go to the theater, have a date. Sounds nice.
Sure.
That sounds nice. But she behaves like she behaves. Look, here's the thing.
Shit, man.
If I took my 9-year-old, I'm not exact. If I took my 9-year-old to go see Beetlejuice, my 9-year-old would be better behaved.
Yes.
In that theater.
Absolutely, yeah.
By far. Without having to be told.
Yeah.
He would be even better behaved when I told him what to do because I would do that because I'm a fucking human being.
Yeah.
She was fucking hooting and hollering and like dancing in her seat, singing along
at, like, full volume.
Nobody else is.
No.
If you look at like the fucking like night vision cam, nobody else is doing that. She's vaping and just blowing the smoke out like she's outside.
And she's like she tried to deny that she was vaping, but she is 100% vaping.
Yeah.
Or she's having some sort of emphysema fit when the stuff is flying out of her
If
mouth.
she's not vaping, what she later copped to because they caught her on the fucking thing. At first she was like, oh, there's a lot of smoke machines used in the production that was smoke. You can see on the
literally
fucking
vaping, lady.
Ooh, you see her.
You're literally vaping. Yeah.
Look, again, fucking vape. I don't give a shit. But not in the theater.
Don't do it in the theater. What are you doing?
And like, she doesn't even, here's the and then the last thing is she's trying to take pictures. She gets her fucking phone out and she's taking pictures with flash.
With flash.
First, it's a no phone, no pictures production, which almost all theatrical productions are. It's intensely rude and distracting.
It's so rude.
And it's stealing someone else's intellectual property.
It's so rude. And they came to get her out, and then she fought with the people trying to take her out, saying, do you know who I am?
Yeah. And then she flipped them off, and then she lied about what she did. She's like, oh. And then when the fucking footage comes out that shows her doing all of this stuff.
Plus, it shows her
getting a little handy.
Fondled. Like at a certain point, he reaches over, Tom.
Oh my God.
And I'm not going to talk about like they're touching in a theater. And I know there's people who are going to say, yeah, but there were children there or whatever. Like it's dark. Like I
genuinely don't care.
Unless there was a child who went and reported her, then there's a problem, right? Then that's an issue. But if it's dark and nobody saw, we wouldn't have saw either. And we wouldn't have known unless they had a fucking night vision camera in there.
Right.
But in any case, at one point, he turns over to her and it is the most like perfunctory tit honk I've ever seen in my entire life.
It looks so weird.
Like, I thought when he did that, it was going to play like the theme for the General Lee, like.
Also, when he does it, he's still facing forward before he General Lees her.
It's like it's so
odd.
It's so like it's so just unpassionate.
And like she doesn't respond to his touch in any way.
Well, then she grabs his in between his legs, and that dude's got a hog because she's grabbing by the knee. Let me tell you,
she's not anywhere near. Like, look, if you're grabbing me, you got to move up. And up
man, you got to go. Go by where like, the taint is. That's where you need to be. But he's got a hog or something down there because she's grabbing like his. She's like untucking his sock at a certain point, but she's grabbing him down there, and he's grabbing her and stuff. But like, I was just appalled by the just transactional nature of it that just felt so and it's a first date, so you would think there would be some kind of titillation. Well, there was titillation. I will say that should be the name of her new bar. Titillation. Get out of Congress and call it titillation. Come on.
Close down shooters or whatever you fucking had. Hee-haws or jugs or... And now it's called... Dude, we got it.
Titillation.
Titillation. No, that's too good to give to Lauren Boebert. We're opening a bar called Titillation.
With guys with their tops off. No, it's just like, but genuinely, like, one of the things the reason why I think we should talk about this is, you know, you made a point earlier, and I'll let you talk about it, about how she doesn't care for other people. But I want to talk very specifically about how I am shocked that something hasn't happened to her because of this.
Yeah.
This is something I feel 10 years ago would have gotten you. You know, you had a guy who said the words white nationalism isn't bad or something like that. Yeah. And he was censured. Like they fucking took his ability to even speak away.
Right.
10 years ago.
Yeah. Well,
but now it's a whole different ballgame. This sort of thing is what they want.
Yes. Yeah. This is what happens when you intentionally install juvenile trolls into Congress.
Yeah.
Is this behavior is not like what has to be understood is this behavior is not limited to, it's not a persona that they are play acting in Congress. It's not limited to their role in Congress. Oh, when I'm at work, I put on this like hat and I go do my trolling stuff. Like trolls are bad people. That's why they're willing to be trolls, right? It's not like they're good people who sometimes are willing to be bad people. These are just bad, shitty, lousy, uncaring, mean people.
Yeah.
That's who they are.
Yeah.
And this is like, is it any surprise that guys like Matt Gaetz, another one of the troll crowd, like he's part of the fucking troll contingent in Congress, like Matt Gaetz is a complete fucking scumbag.
Yeah.
He's a total fucking scumbag. They're all in their personal lives the same as they are in their professional lives.
Sure.
Here she is willing to go to a public space where people have paid presumably a good buck. The theater's not cheap.
Yeah.
And they're trying to have a night out. And she is absolutely unconcerned with how her behavior affects anyone else.
Yeah.
She does not care. It is the least important thing. She's there to just do whatever the fuck she wants. She doesn't give a fuck about other people.
Yeah.
She doesn't care if other people are inconvenienced or if it's ruining the show or if it changes their night. And that's emblematic of who she is as a person. But the thing is, man, she's a civil servant.
Yeah, man.
She's supposed to be better than that.
Yep.
But like we installed a contingent of trolls.
Yeah.
And we're like, cool, you guys are now powerful. And they're like, awesome.
Yeah. Watch me do literally whatever I want. And then if you try to challenge me, I'll try to remind you that I can do literally whatever I want.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening. But I think there's a great tie-in here with a couple of things that we're going to talk about tonight. And one of them is the shutdown, right? Well, the looming shutdown, because this isn't a Republicans fighting Democrats moment where someone won't acquiesce to something like that. And instead it's Republicans fighting Republicans.
It is. And this is, I grabbed these stories intentionally because I think there's a narrative, an overarching narrative I really wanted to talk to you about tonight. I am beginning to think that what we are seeing is the structural schism and the disintegration of the Republican Party into two parties.
Yeah.
I really think that I was thinking like, is this how new parties are formed? Is that an existing party becomes so torn apart from its own internal chaos that a new, is this how like the Whigs fucking blow up and become
the Tories and like with their fucking weird hair pieces on or whatever? I don't know.
But like I really think that we're at a place where the MAGA party will become a real political party you can vote for. That there will be the Democrats, the Republicans, and the MAGA party. And I think we're starting to see that civil war that's going to break the Republican Party in two. I know that's dreaming because that would only be good. That would only be good. There's no downside.
I don't see a downside either. And I think you're onto something, Tom, because I was watching interviews today and there was 5, 6, 7 Republicans talking about how fucking clown shoe this is, that they can't even pass their own spending bill.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
This is their own. This isn't, the Democrats aren't going to pass it, right? The Democrats are like, fuck you, you pass it. And they're all like, well, we're going to fight about it. Yep. And they are too splintered. There's so many people who are saying, This shutdown is literally on our shoulders. These are Republicans
Yeah.
saying, how clown shoe is this? Because this is literally on our shoulders if it happens.
From this article from Politico, there's a line in here that I want to read because it's delicious. The title of this article is Republicans Resigned to Being the Villains in the Inevitable Government Showdown. So Representative Mike Simpson has this amazing line in this article. And this fucker's from Idaho. And here's what he says. We always get the blame, said Representative Mike Simpson, a senior appropriator. Name one time that we've shut the government down and we haven't gotten the blame. Name one time I broke into your house.
You know what?
And I wasn't the criminal.
You know what? You got us there, Mike.
They're always blaming me for the things I do.
Oh, so good. So good. And, you know, the thing
So
is
fun.
like, there's another story you found too that was basically like the White House is just going to let them do this.
Yeah.
The White House is going to let them fist fight this out. And really, genuinely, what they're going to have to do, because it's on the wall now, these people that are in the far right party, the far right portion of their party, right, for now, are not going to pass this. They're not going to do it.
No.
So they're going to have to work with Democrats because that's the best way to get things passed. Because if you do a bipartisan thing, you don't have to worry about any of the major, like, factions that could overthrow that vote. And so sadly, it'll be a centrist thing for me. I'd much rather it be a progressive thing.
Right.
But a centrist thing is better than a right thing while they're in power. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm being pragmatic about this whole thing, the best case scenario in this case would be a centrist thing because they're never going to pass a progressive thing. But the best I can do is soften or water down their far right thing.
And even that phrase, while they're in power, has lost all of its meaning right now.
Yeah.
And that's exactly like it's kind of, and the White House, this article is from Politico as well, why the White House is letting McCarthy flail. So like McCarthy is supposed to be the majority leader in the House. And if you remember, it took him like a fucking dozen and a half attempts.
Oh yeah, it was 15 attempts or something like that.
And in order to get it, he had to basically say, look, here's the deal, guys. You guys vote me in, and if even one person doesn't like what I'm doing, they can table a vote to have me removed. And so that gives the screaming fucking insane trolls all the power, right? Because they've said as much. Like Gates has come out and said, hey, McCarthy, get back in line. He said it out like in a press conference, like get back into compliance. Until you're fully compliant, we're gonna fucking start these motions to to get rid of you as the fucking House Speaker or whatever. And it's like they're not in power. There's no power here. They're not wielding it. You know, like there's no strategy. There's no strength behind it. This is all weakness. It's all weakness. They can't even decide. Here's how dysfunctional the Republican House is right now. They don't want to do anything. What they can't decide is what they want to get in the way of.
Yeah.
They can't even all agree to get in the way of things the same way.
Do you think it's a bad thing if they defund the government though? If they don't
there's a
fund,
shutdown?
if they do the shutdown, would it slow down any of the things in federal court going after Trump?
I genuinely don't know. I don't know. So whenever there's a government shutdown, there's always this like laundry list of people that are accepted from that shutdown.
Yeah.
And those people are always what they consider like the essential workers.
Yeah.
So I don't know if like they would consider the machinery of the justice system to be essential workers or not.
Yeah.
I don't know how long the shutdown will last. I'm a little worried. You know, we've had shutdowns in our lifetime before. And they typically are fairly short-lived and they're embarrassing failures of political progress, right? They're just a ridiculous example of modern gridlock. But like when they happen, like they're bad news for all the people at the bottom, like all the people who are like, wake up and go to work.
They eat the shit.
And they always say, oh, we'll give them back pay.
Yeah.
It's like, back pay doesn't fucking help if I missed my mortgage payment.
Fucking A, man.
Who's going to pay my late fees? Who's going to pay my fucking extra interest that I accumulate? Yep. Like that fucking back pay shit can go suck a dick. That stuff is nonsense. Like you're fucking with people's lives at a really deeply fundamental level. And there's a goddamn lot of people in government that get fucked when these things happen. So like there's that element of it. But like I don't know if they put this thing to shut down. I don't know that I don't know how they turn it back on.
Yeah.
That's my worry.
Yeah, how do you flip the switch back on? Yeah.
Because these guys are not going to coalesce.
Yeah, and you got a whole, at this point, we're 13 months away from the change of government, right? Something changes in 13 months, right? This isn't next month that we can hope that they'd get voted out.
Right.
We got to wait 13
Jesus
months.
Christ.
So they got
13 months, buddy.
And they're in charge for 13 months. So they got to fix it. And so it could be I really do feel though, at a certain point, there's going to be too much for them to take the blame on. They're going to have to go to the Democrats. It's going to be a bipartisan thing eventually.
Yeah,
eventually
think so
it's going to be, because I do not see those people bending to the Republican will. I think that they're like you said earlier when you're talking about trolls, you're like, they don't give a shit.
No.
So they don't have any sense. These other people recognize their jobs are on the line if they go back to their place and they're like, yeah, we couldn't fix it. I mean, those people, and it's not that those people in those small parts of the country are going to pick somebody that's a Democrat. They'll pick another Republican though.
For sure. Yeah, they'll pick a different, hopefully, they'll pick somebody evil, right?
Yeah.
Like, I just want to be sure everybody understands. They will pick somebody evil. But like, there is a point where you got to say like, all right, I want somebody who's evil and competent rather than evil. Like the problem is like the fucking MAGA contingent, they don't understand how the machinery of government even works. They don't understand the stakes involved. They don't understand, and they don't appreciate the magnitude of what they're doing. They don't give a shit. You know what they are? They're fucking howling jackasses in a theater.
Yep. Yeah. Vaping.
Just screaming and vaping and fucking taking pictures and
honking each other's tits. It's like a fucking clown nose. You're just like,
again, dude, they don't even lean over toward each other, man.
They're not even near each other.
Have you ever, when you were like hot and heavy with somebody, have you ever made out in a public-ish space, like a movie theater or whatever?
Hold on a second. Let me think about when I was hot and heavy about. Yeah, absolutely.
Because like I absolutely have. Yeah. So I don't want to like say like I'm above the fray of being like caught in the moment.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is their moment sucks.
Yeah.
Their moment makes my dick limp. Their moment is sad. Holy shit.
Yeah, well, it's good that guy's dick was limp, because if not, he was going to kick the guy in front of him in the face.
You want me to break something else? No.
All right, so this story comes from FFRF Action.org, Freedom from Religion Foundation, or Project 2025, Harrowing Roadmap for Christian Nationalist Presidency. I want to read chunks of this because it's pretty dense, actually. The right-wing collaboration called Project 2025 recently published a 920-page mandate for leadership. And I saw that, Cecil, because at first, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, maybe I should read the, and it was like, 902. I was like, I will read your article about this.
Fuck that.
920-page mandate for
admittedly, the right does have a lot of books that are full of a lot of pages and don't say a fuck all.
That is true. So. I wonder if it's on that super thin onion skin paper.
It comes with its own bookmark so you can find your place later.
Is it red every time Trump speaks?
Yeah. It's the MAGA Bible.
Oh, God.
It's awesome.
Instructs on how to implement an agenda of autocracy in the first 180 days of presidency. PBS NewsHour described it as a goal to restructure U.S.'s government and replace it with Trump's vision. The president, day one, will be a wrecking ball for the administrative state, claims Russ Vought, a former Trump administration official who's now president of the Conservative Center for Renewing America. The unabashedly theocratic recommendations that are part of Project 2025 haven't received the media attention they deserve, warns FFRF Action President Annie-Laurie Gaylor. Voters who value our secular U.S. Constitution and its foundational principle of guaranteeing a secular government must take heed. So let me kind of go through what's in parts of this. And again, we're not going to talk about the whole thing because it's 1,000 fucking pages. It's reading The fucking Shining. That's what, like,
it's the same outcome for humanity too.
Yeah. The Stand is actually what I meant to say. It's reading The Stand.
That's what I was taking it as. I forgot. No, The Shining is the one with the ghost. The Stand is the one where we all die.
The mandate, based on the theory that Article 2 of the Constitution gives the president complete control of the executive branch, recommends stripping power from or entirely dismantling virtually all federal agencies. In addition to putting the Justice Department under the political control of the White House, this would eliminate federal support for public education, jeopardize healthcare protections guaranteed by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and much more. The general goal seems to be to eliminate any federal programs that, quote, provide for general welfare and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our prosperity, while consolidating as much power as possible into the Oval Office.
I think the writing was on the wall in the first debate for the Republican nominee,
Primary.
right? They all said this. They all want to dismantle government. They want to tear entire wings of the government, big, major institutional figures in our political sphere. They want to tear them down completely. So the writing was on the wall already, but this solidifies it to a point where it's basically saying, like, the president will come in, and I don't know if you remember, I mean, we did the first 100 days that Trump had signed up when he won. We read the first 100 days. We talked about each one. I will say this is more scary because that felt like he was trying to work within a system. This is dismantling almost the entire system and then just placing it under an authoritarian leader in the president. And trust me, they only want to do this if they win. They do not want this if the Democrat wins. The 2025 plan is not for us to ever win again. It's not for Democrats to ever win again.
That's exactly right, because this would radically restructure the very structure of our government to consolidate as much power as possible at the top. Once they do that with a wildly more powerful autocratic executive branch, a puppet Supreme Court, they will simply cheat the system
all the time
until the Democrats, even though they're the majority of this country.
Forever.
Yeah. Even though we win, we're the majority of this whole fucking country, even though that's true. You know, I was listening to something, I was listening to a podcast about Wisconsin again, and they were talking about how wildly unfair Wisconsin's system has become. So Wisconsin votes Democrat. They just vote Democrat, except for that it doesn't matter, because Wisconsin has been so heavily gerrymandered that even though it's like 54%, that's a pretty big swing. Even though it's like 54% of Wisconsinites voting consistently for Democrats, almost all of it is run by Republicans.
Yeah.
Because that's the power of gerrymandering. You can cheat yourself so hard that, like, you can be winning by 5, 6, 7, 8 percentage points and still lose. Yeah. That's fucking insane, dude.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
And think about the things that were put in place by some of these authoritarian governors, right? So Ron DeSantis puts into place a force of people going out to make sure there's no election fraud.
Right.
Tell me that there won't be, if a top-down government like that sort of occurs and there's no checks really on the presidency anymore, who doesn't put together a fucking small force of people who are going to be the ones who make sure the elections go their way every
100%.
time? Yeah. I mean, this is a terrifying blueprint for the future. We talked about something like this because, you know, there's no collaboration in anything they're doing, right? Like, I would love it if humanity would work together and solve some of the major problems that we're looking at. I would love that.
That'd be awesome.
I think that would be amazing because we have to work together if we want to solve it. There is nothing in there that makes them they want to subjugate. That's what they want to do. That's what this plan, and that's when we talk about that climate, it's full fucking foot on the gas. When we're talking about that climate thing, they're like, no, man, we're literally going to destroy we're not just going to make rip out the EPA. We're going to make a conservative version of the EPA. So that's what this stuff is all stemming from. This 2025 plan is a terrifying thing.
They have been telling us that they want to break our government for, I don't know.
It's got to be 20 years. Since Newt Gingrich.
Yeah.
Since Newt Gingrich. At least.
This is the closest they've ever been.
Yeah.
This is like, we are, and I don't want to like overstate it, but you can't. This is literally an existential moment in America. It really is. And because it's an existential moment in America, this is an existential moment for the world.
Yeah.
And that is not an exaggeration. No. If we don't, we've got this like narrow window to work on some of these big problems. If we dismantle our government, if we destroy democracy in this country, if we consolidate power into a single source at the top who wields autocratic control, if we have no checks and balances through a puppet Supreme Court, we are going to spend 8, 10, 12 years at least, bare minimum, before maybe, if we're lucky, at a good downwind, we can wrest control of the system back from this, and then it's too late.
That's too late. It's too late. That's a used husk.
Yep.
Oh, you like the game, huh? Do you really like it?
It's our favorite game in the whole world.
Oh, you like the game, huh?
Well, how do you like these?
So, you whizzed on the electric fence, didn't you?
The electric fence. Now, on funnier news, this is from CNN. Trump acknowledges he was told 2020 election lies were false in wide-ranging interview. Did you watch this Meet the Press interview?
I didn't know.
I've read so many stories. This thing sounds like the biggest fucking train wreck for his attorneys ever.
I don't know how he still has attorneys. I'll be perfectly honest.
Thank you.
I don't know how people keep signing that paper because it's like trying to protect. It's like trying to protect somebody who's so stupid they don't know what they're doing. Like he's like a person walking around a house with a fucking fork trying to stick it in every outlet that he can. And you're the guy who's trying to run in front of him and put one of those child-safe things on an electric outlet. And you keep walking. I really want to stick it in there. I cannot, Tom, I cannot wait for the first day of any of his trials.
Oh my God, I know.
Because he has done so much pollution not in his favor, right? In the prosecution's favor, he's done so much pollution. It's going to be so hard for me to pay attention because I'm going to be like, man, he said all this stuff, and they're just going to keep rolling in all the tape where he said these things, and they're like, was that a lie? What was that? What's going on?
Yeah, this is like. So what he said in the CNN interview is basically like, hey, people told me, a lot of people told me, my lawyers told me, I listen to other people. I'm people, I listen to me. Here's what I listen to. I listen to me. I'm the one that I listen to.
He's the one
that's basically what he said.
I made the decision.
Right. But like the only colorable defense that I've ever heard anybody even remotely suggest that he might accidentally prevail with would be that he was working on the advice of counsel. He was relying on the advice of counsel.
He was using people, and they told him it was this.
And it's like, it is, from what I'm to understand, it is a colorable defense to say, look, I got an attorney because this was complicated. The attorney told me to do this thing.
Yeah,
or
he throws all his attorneys under the fucking bus.
But like, if he just stuck with that, but now he can't do that. He cannot realistically go to court anymore and say, I was relying on the advice of my attorneys. Now he's got to be like, that was me. Because they'll just bust out this CNN thing.
They'll be like, no, you said it here. Were you lying, sir?
Right here.
Were you lying, sir?
Right.
And like,
everything is going to clash with everything else.
And the problem is that everybody's that is in that courtroom is going to have to watch him say these things out loud. And that is such an impression on the fucking jury.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? Or the judge, if it's a judge in some cases. I don't know if it's going to be a judge or a jury. I suspect it to be a jury in everything. I
suspect, but I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what he's going to decide. But if it's a jury, like, think of how damaging that is to just him, to hear him say it to somebody out loud. Yeah. And then he says, no, that's not what I meant. I mean, that's like, I can't imagine how bad that's going to be.
Do you think he'll take the stand?
I don't know that he'll have to. I think that they're just going to play this shit anyway.
Yeah, I don't know that he will either. I think it would be insane to take the stand. I will say this.
He is such an idiot that he would be steamrolled by any one of those people.
They will fucking eat his fucking lunch. They will drink his fucking milkshake. And I will say this. I will pledge this, if he is going to take the stand, I am calling off of my day job. I am coming here.
We are
watching that shit.
We are live streaming. If he takes the stand, absolutely.
If he's on this, there's no way I could work that day.
Do you know?
There's no way. I would be too hard. The whole day. There's no way. My erection will last more than 4 hours.
But you know what doesn't last more than 4 hours? Making a delicious home-cooked meal with HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. A busy fall schedule doesn't always leave you with time to spare. And with HelloFresh, you don't need to spend all evening in the kitchen to whip up a wholesome meal. With their quick and easy recipes and 15-minute meals, you can get a tasty dinner on the table in less time than it takes to get takeout or delivery. HelloFresh takes the stress out of mealtime by delivering fresh ingredients and easy recipes right to your door. This fall, skip that extra trip to the grocery store and have dinner ready in no time with America's #1 meal kit. And when you get HelloFresh, you know you're getting top-notch produce since it travels from the farm to your door in less than 7 days. I know when I'm making a chimichurri sauce for my fried tofu and potatoes, I don't want to have to go back to the store because I forgot cilantro again. Having all the correct pre-portioned ingredients makes cooking easy peasy, squeezy, lemons, or whatever. So, I mean, it is actually pretty helpful that I don't have to think, because that's difficult. Go to HelloFresh.com/50glory and use code 50glory for 50% off plus 15% off the next 2 months. HelloFresh.com/50glory and use promo code 50glory. America's #1 meal kit. And now we return you to whatever it is they were talking about. Good luck remembering.
As long as that hearing lasts.
As long as he's on the stand.
I will say this. He gets away with it in debates because he interrupts and he's forceful.
Right.
That shit don't play in court.
No, man.
You can't do that in court.
He'll get
You
contempt.
saw how many times Alex Jones had to be put in his place because he kept on trying to interrupt them, and they're like, this isn't your show.
Yep.
You don't get to talk like that here. Everybody gets a chance to speak. And when it's their turn, you shut your fucking mouth. And he had to shut his fucking mouth.
They also make you answer the question.
Mm-hmm.
If you just fucking pontificate rather than actually answer the goddamn question.
Huge point.
They'll just roll it right back and be like, sir, you're going to answer that question.
You're
going to
answer that question. Yeah, you're going to have to answer that.
Yep.
It's going to be, if he takes the stand, absolutely outstanding. Please take the stand every chance you get.
All I want is that. That's all I want. I don't know, Cecil, I don't want anything for Christmas.
You just want that.
I just want that.
I just want that over and over and over.
If he takes a stand and putting that on a fucking DVD or whatever, a USB drive, I'm just going to watch it all the time. All the time. I'm going to buy those Google glasses that project shit into your eyes so I can only see that forever.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know.
Tom, I found this and I want to play this audio for you.
Oh, there's audio.
So there's audio.
There's audio.
This is from Pink News. Republican sobs as she claims the LGBTQ plus activists are training children to use butt plugs and dildos. I'm going to play this. This is this lady having a genuine meltdown.
Hello, my name is Erin Mazzoni, and my address is on file. I just moved here from Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Hearing what this person just said really upsets me because our entire community up north fell apart. It was like watching a bad car accident for 3 years straight. It started out as pride coming in, and I thought everything would be okay. I was totally fine with them having and doing what they wanted under the laws. And it ended with a rainbow room where 8 to 12-year-old kids were given butt plugs and dildos. And
wait, make her say butt plugs and dildos again in that voice.
Okay, hold on a second.
Make her say that again.
Jesus Christ, Tom. That's dark.
I'm almost there.
That's dark.
I'm almost there.
We just got a city grant, a rainbow room where 8 to 12-year-old kids were given butt plugs and dildos.
Butt plugs and dildos?
No, they weren't. No, they weren't. You know what this is a person who's, and you know what, I'll play the rest of it before I interrupt it.
Trained. They just got a city grant for $650,000 to be able to do more training on the children. It was horrendous. I have asked my friends there what if it's getting any better. Every single one of them are leaving. And it is a very good tax base. These conservatives are good tax base people.
What does that mean?
It was absolutely horrible to watch. You think that you're doing things based on laws, but you are doing things and you are letting
Okay, it stops there. Okay. It stops like right in the middle of it. But I want to talk about this because like this is someone who is so wrapped up in a conspiracy that they can't discern reality from this weird fantasy that they're having.
Yeah, there's no evidence at all that anything of course, right? I just need to say it. There's no evidence at all, of course, that anyone is teaching kids how to use butt plugs and dildos. I will say, having potty trained a couple of kids, maybe a butt plug.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm just saying it saved the carpet.
Well, then you take it,
save the
you
carpet.
go into that changing room, you take it off, and it just sprays the walls everywhere. No, but
you're growing up with this thing in it, so you learn to control that.
I tell you, it's just a grotesque thing because what they've been caught up in is this groomer conspiracy.
Yeah.
So they're caught up in this groomer conspiracy. It's a horrible, shitty, untrue conspiracy. We've seen time and time and time again, the groomers are the church, man.
Yep.
The groomers are not just a church either. There's plenty of churches out there that are groomers. They groom kids into sexual acts at a young age, and it's grotesque, right?
Yep.
So, we've seen that time and time and time again. They keep saying it over and over and over again, and these people are starting to believe it. And now they're hyperventilating at a fucking school board meeting because she thinks it's real. I mean, this is fucking boogeyman stuff.
It is. And like, I actually, part of me, like, as much as I'm laughing at this lady, like, part of me feels genuinely bad for all these people that have been duped into, in their minds, they live in a world that is this awful. And like, the world we live in is already pretty bad. Right? The world we live in has far too much like pedophilia and abuse and violence and like sexual violence. The world we live in, but they're now living in a world that has been imagined and narrated for them by politicians who are seeking to like control them. And they're living in a world that is worse than the world they have to live in every day. Every day this lady wakes up, Cecil, and she believes in a world that is more horrible than the world she has to believe in.
Right.
And so for her, that's real.
Yeah.
It's genuine. Like, I don't think she's faking those tears.
Do you remember we had Marsh on, God, this had to be a couple years ago, and he was talking about the anti-vax people. And he was saying, like, I think that in their heart, what they're thinking is, I really care about children.
Yeah.
And that is a good thing.
Right.
But they're taking into account all these things, and it's making them sort of crazy in their head and doing the wrong thing for kids. Mm-hmm. This is the exact same thing, right? They hear this stuff, and I think she probably does care about kids.
I think so, too.
I don't think that these are crocodile tears. I don't think she's pretending to cry. I think she is having a moment here. But I think she's been unbelievably lied to, and she believes these things are real. And she's not, what she's doing is she's basically allowing a bunch of kids to not understand who they are too, right? Yeah. Because there's going to be a small percentage of kids that are going to be forced because they're in some rural area to not be able to be who they are. Sure. Now, nobody gets this. It's the tiniest percentage of people who are in the LGBTQ plus group, right? Yeah, There's a tiniest group of people. This is not a majority of human beings. This is a small group of people. Most people are straight and cis. That is true. Yeah. And these people are going to force this tiny, already marginalized community of people who are afraid to be more afraid.
Absolutely.
And to hide more and to separate themselves more from that community and to not have the structures and the support that normal kids get from being who they are.
Yep. The other thing that this is going to do is this narrative will further degrade support for regular sex education.
Yes, absolutely true.
So like everybody eats shit.
Yeah.
When we don't have evidence-based, when we don't have like good quality evidence-based sex education, then everybody loses. Rates of pregnancy, unwanted pregnancy go up. Rates of disease go up. Rates of abuse go up. Like all of these horrible negatives go way the fuck up. And we absolutely know that like this is going to create an environment that is not conducive to the expansion of and development of quality sex education. Yeah. Because they're going to be like, oh, it's grooming. They're teaching them how to use fucking butt plugs or whatever. Also, I don't want anyone putting a butt plug in my kid, but like if my kid was of like sexual
education
age or whatever,
age?
sex ed age, and they're like, here's how toys work. And they weren't like, I'd be like, that's how toys work.
Yep.
Hey, I learned how these toys work. I'd be like, yeah, well, that's how they work.
That's how they work.
Yeah. I mean, like I'm not afraid of that shit. You know, like I don't want to know it. Don't get me wrong. As my kids have matured into like 17-year-old kids, I don't want to know about their sex life any more than I want to tell them about mine.
Sure.
But I want them to have a happy and healthy sex life.
Yeah.
I just never want to hear about it.
No, and I think that's exactly it, right? Is that I think that there's a problem in our country with prudishness and sex.
Yeah.
And it's religion-based. It's strictly religion-based that is forcing everyone in this country to be prudish and to push back on things that could help all these children have healthy sex lives, right? As they grow. Not sex lives as children.
No.
But you have to learn it at a certain point so that later on in life you can have these things. And you have to decide at a certain point to teach it to somebody, right? There has to be a point. And the problem is that they always think everyone is too young. And you're like, but you don't understand. Kids are having sex and exploring this sort of thing at a young age.
Yeah, and they're seeing, the thing is like, these kids are growing up and they've got a phone in their pocket.
Yeah, man.
And they're seeing all kinds of varsity level stuff.
Yeah.
And like, they're not varsity level players.
Yeah.
And it really is, it is necessary as adults in the room to like help kids understand a world that is just functionally different than the world we grew up in. You know, they're seeing people whose job is to fucking be fucked.
Yeah.
Like they're good at it. They're pros.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
And like, you've got like kids and they're going to see that stuff and they have to understand that difference, right?
Yeah.
They have to understand like that, hey, there's a difference. We have to teach kids like all the stuff that like, I don't know about you, but like in sex ed, all the stuff I was never taught, which is like relationship dynamics and consent and abuse. And like
that was left out.
All that
as
stuff,
far as I remember, it was left out.
My sex ed was very abstinence is the best way to avoid all this stuff. So it was like, here's the stuff, but always came, that's conversation, its sentence always came back to, but remember, abstinence is the best way to avoid this.
I didn't have that. You did
not.
No, a lady pulled out a banana. One of the first things she showed us was how to put a condom on.
No, but I never had that demonstration.
That was one of the first things I remember.
I have been eating fucking unsafe bananas my whole life.
I normally put the condom on if I'm going to mash it. So
okay, so
no, but seriously, like I thought mine was pretty straightforward. I think that they definitely talked about abstinence. Then they didn't skip over it, but I remember that there was definitely a, here's what these things are sort of things.
And that's interesting because we grew up not far from each other.
Yeah.
And we're only 5 years apart.
Mm-hmm.
But like, what that tells me too is that a huge amount of the education that we get comes down to the teacher.
Yeah.
And the spin that they put on things, right?
Probably where I lived too. I definitely lived in probably a more liberal area because, it's a more working class area.
Sure.
I know that the place where you went to school,
right?
Probably not your house, but certainly the place you went to school was affluent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it was, there's a difference, I think, between what they're going to allow and what some, blue collar family is going to want.
Absolutely.
Because they certainly don't want their kid coming home preggers.
Right.
And then there's another mouth to feed in a middle class, lower class family. But
like when it comes down to when there's this much, and like having gone to school to be a teacher, you have a lot of personal latitude. You have an enormous amount of personal, like you've got this material you got to cover, but you have a lot of personal latitude in how you cover it and what angle you put on it. The thing too is that like everybody is awash in the same culture.
Yeah.
So if we are grooming people to believe in groomers, if we are grooming people to believe in a world full of like QAnon pedophile nonsense, that's going to affect the teachers who teach your kids.
Yeah.
They might give your kids sex ed, but they might give them a different sex ed like you and I got.
Yep.
By picking one case, you can go home with 1 cent or $1 million. One banker, one button, and just one question. Deal or no deal?
So this is good news. This is cool. This is from NPR. Biden is unveiling the American Climate Corps, a program with echoes of the New Deal. This is actually a pretty big deal. And it's a pretty big program. The goal here is to put as many as 20,000 people to work with green jobs in energy infrastructure.
Yeah, that's great. I feel like the article it echoes the New Deal. I mean, the New Deal is like 8.5 million people. This is 20,000 jobs.
It's a splash.
Let's not be like, this is a New Deal type thing. This is 20,000 jobs. Great.
Right.
Got to start somewhere, right? Even if it's meager, you got to start somewhere. There's a lot of companies out there with 20,000 employees. You know, there's hundreds of thousands of companies with 20,000 employees, but 20,000 is a good step in the right direction.
It is.
I'd like it to be 20,000, then 50,000, then 100,000, then 2 million.
Right.
That's what I'd love to see, right?
Absolutely.
I'd like to see it keep growing and growing. And you can't start, you got to start somewhere. Everybody's got to start somewhere. So I don't want to shit on it because it's a start. It's at least a fucking start. Let's do something. Doing something is better than doing nothing. But really, we need to fucking open the hose on this.
Yeah, dude, this is like, you know, a peak of light through the door when we need to bust the door open.
We do.
Like, for sure.
Do.
It's just like, you know, one of the constraints is that this is essentially being done through executive order rather than through legislative action. So Congress controls the purse strings. There's only so much,
only so much
action
money
that one person can take until we consolidate all of the power up top.
Man, if you consolidate all the power up top,
we have a king.
You could have some real push here. I will say this, you know, like if you can win back Congress and you keep Senate and then you keep the presidency, this could grow huge because you do have your foot in the door. You do have an infrastructure in place. Now we fund it.
Right.
And now it's big. Now it's one of these big, you know, the departments. There could be a Department of Green Energy, you know, or at least a portion of the Department of Energy that fits under green energy.
And how baller would that be?
Amazing.
This is what needs to happen.
We need it.
We need something as bold and as aggressive and as fundamentally earth-shaking as the New Deal.
Yeah.
It has to be.
AOC was right. She was right about that.
All along.
When she talked about this years ago, she was right about it when she called it that, and people were laughing at her.
Oh my God.
And you're like, look at it now, man. Look at it now. Look at the insurance companies pulling out of places because of how dangerous it is.
You can't even it's State Farm Insurance isn't writing new policies in the state of California. State Farm in the whole state of California, they're not writing new policies. There's a couple of insurers that have pulled out of Florida entirely. Like we're going to start to see, and I'm always encouraged, to be honest. I'm encouraged when I see that because part of me knows that nobody is going to make this kind of systemic change until the money follows it.
Yep. The money's got to lead you there. And it's not the money follows it. The money leads you there. You follow it.
Yep.
And so, if they can get money, if they can get, like we talked about this 5 years ago, the moment it starts inconveniencing rich people, that's when it changes.
Then things will change.
And we don't have a system that does anything better than that. No. That's the system we have.
Yeah. So we need to make this hurt.
I mean, granted, I hate that system, but that's the system you have.
Yeah, I'm actually to a point where I'm like, all right, now I want to see some of these coastlines. I want to see some of these like big, beautiful homes in Malibu and like these big, beautiful homes in Miami. I need to see them getting washed away. Like they need to get washed away so that people can be like, holy shit. What? Like it needs to happen.
Yeah, because
like I hate crises. I don't want anyone to suffer. I don't actually want anyone to suffer. I'm just worried that
but if somebody loses their second home.
I'm just worried that like if people don't suffer, we're all going to suffer so much worse.
And it's the people who genuinely the people who need to suffer.
Yeah.
Are the ones that are putting the screws to the environment right now.
But Elena's love for Damon was stronger than the doppelganger curse.
So this is great. This is from Insider. Senator John Fetterman is selling body double t-shirts, leaning into the right-wing conspiracy
I want to play this video.
Yeah.
This is so fucking funny, Tom. I don't know a lot about Fetterman. I know he came in and the people were pissed about him. And man, this is just great. I want to play this. So hold on a second. Let me put it on the big screen for everybody. Now, this is John Fetterman. If you're watching, if you're listening, this is John Fetterman just sitting in his apartment or something, talking to a camera.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Senator John Fetterman, and I just want you to know that I'm back and I'm feeling great, 100%. And, during my time during the hospital, the fringies really came up with a conspiracy that I have a body double. And I just want you to know that is just crazy. That's not true. And I mean, no, dude, John, what am I supposed to be doing this afternoon? Dude, really?
Just the two of us.
Oh, it's great.
So what happens if you're listening, what happened is the second time when he said, "Hey, John," it was him coming in the door in a white sweatshirt, and he was standing and there's another camera where he's talking in a different outfit. And so he's talking to himself there as if he is a body double. I love this because it doesn't give them very often what'll happen is someone will say, "No, that's not true. I don't have a body double. That's stupid." They'll fight back in a weird way. He's just like, "No, man, these people are fringe and stupid and they are goofy and I'm going to make fun of them right now." And I think that might be more effective than what's been happening.
I know. There's a part of me that rebels against the idea that the solution to bullshit isn't fact checking.
Yeah.
But I do think that we're living in a world where it's all snark all the way down.
Yeah.
Everything is snark now. And so it's all right, look, Tom Curry, wanted to live in a world governed by serious people.
I wanted a serious world.
Right.
Yeah.
I wanted a serious world where civil servants, had our baby, but that's not the world. The world we live in is a snark world. Everything is collapsed down to a joke, a quip, a meme. So if that's where we're at, fire with fire. That, we just have to.
Yeah.
We just have to.
I don't think you're wrong. And I think the other part of me is I didn't start it.
Yeah. Right.
This guy didn't set out to make a conspiracy and then have fun with it, right? The conspiracy was thrust upon him by people who are unhinged from reality. So his defense is to just say, "You're crazy. Here is me making fun of you."
Yep. And I think this kind of stuff sucks all the oxygen out of the room.
Yeah, right.
And that's kind of maybe the only way that we can deflate this nonsense is to just suck all the oxygen out of the room. Just make this not fun anymore. I think it's if it's not fun anymore, nobody wants to propagate it. It's not getting a rise out of anyone. It's like when Biden embraced the fucking dark Biden shit.
The dark Brandon.
The dark Brandon stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, when he started doing the dark Brandon stuff, now people are mad at it.
Yeah.
Right? So before they were just "Oh, he's so old, he's so stupid." And then he's doing dark Brandon shit and they're "Fuck that guy, I'm so mad about it."
You know? It reclaims it.
And he takes it back.
Yeah.
He's "Okay, well, I'm just going to take it back from you." And this Fetterman thing is very similar. And he's got t-shirts that are, one of his t-shirts, it's at the top here. It says, John Fetterman's body double is
so
what it
funny.
says. And so you could buy a shirt that he's making merch money off of for his campaign that says John Fetterman's body double. That's fucking hilarious.
It's great.
It's genuinely funny. And I don't know if you saw some of these pictures, Tom, but one of these pictures, they're like, "I hate when my tattoos disappear like this." Now I want to show you this picture. This is the picture. "I hate when my tattoos disappear like this." And you're like, dude, it's the other side of his arm. So Fetterman now, and I don't know if you knew this, but in his arms, he has tattoos. And those tattoos are when people died while he was a mayor. So when people died in his city, he wrote on him the dates of all the people. So it's a meaningful tattoo to him. Right. And there's a picture of him on the top where he's got his arms out. His arms are out and you can see the tattoos.
You see the underside of his forearm.
The underside of his forearm, right?
Yeah.
When he's holding his hands to his head, his underside of his forearm is gone, and you're seeing the side of his forearm. And some moron has circled the side of his forearm and said, "I hate it when my tattoos disappear." And you're like, that's how fucking object permanence works, dude. Can I take your nose?
I know. Look, I have a tattoo on my forearm. Watch.
Yeah.
It's gone. Oh, it's there. It's gone.
Yeah.
It's there.
It's gone.
It's gone. Body double.
Yeah.
Body double. Ah, what? If you show a different part of your body, it looks different.
Yeah, sure does. Sure does. I don't look the same from the side as I do from the front.
The back of my leg doesn't look like the front of my leg.
And it's just, and again, they're taking pictures of him from different angles, and also genuinely, different lenses will make your face change. Different focal lengths, that can change how your face looks in a big way.
In a huge way.
In a huge way. And so and it's also different lighting. He's wearing glasses in one. And you're just like, dude, you're the guy who's fooled by Clark Kent. You are the guy who's fooled by Clark Kent.
I don't know.
They don't look, they're totally different people. Those are different people. You're like, you are a fucking idiot, man. And I wouldn't be surprised if like somebody put somebody else in there as a joke. I think that would be funny.
Yeah,
If somebody just put in like fucking Walter White in there or something, that would be the funniest shit.
Also, like one of them, his facial hair is different.
His facial hair is different.
Like you would look
He's wearing a mustache.
Like,
another one, he's got a beard, a full beard.
Like, have you ever seen the videos where like a dad has had a beard and then he shaves his beard and he goes out and his baby cries?
Baby cries, yeah.
Because they don't recognize you.
Yeah.
Like making like a big drastic change to your facial hair is a drastic change. Like so much so that like people may not recognize you on the street.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I've had a beard for 30 years.
That's a long time.
I can't imagine someone seeing, I mean, maybe not that long. Maybe it's got to be at least 25 though.
A long time.
So I had a goatee for a while, I guess. Not just like a full beard, but I was like one of the first people I knew to sort of grow my whole beard in because I was lazy. I was like, I'm lazy. I don't want to have to fucking. And this was back in like the aughts. A goatee was in like the
the 90s too. Yeah,
the little goatee was in. And then I was just like, nah, it's just too much work. And so I just grew a beard in. And then I had a beard for years. And so like I couldn't imagine if somebody saw me. If I shaved tomorrow,
if I saw you clean shaven,
weird as shit, man. People would be like, who is that guy?
If I walked into your home and you were clean shaven, I would fight you thinking you were an intruder. I'm like, you're in my guy's house, bro.
You'd point at me like that Invasion of the Body Snatchers and just start screeching. Like, yeah, man, this is crazy shit. These people are insane. And I love that he's leaning into it. He's like, fine. No, it's fine. I'll make fun of you.
That's got to be it. Lean into all of them.
Lean into it.
Lean into them all.
Yeah.
Take them all back.
Little guy, how you doing?
Fuck off, Four Eyes.
I beg your pardon?
I said, fuck off, Four Eyes.
Oh, I love this story. Weirdly, this comes from sports.yahoo.com.
Yeah.
I don't know why, guys. Fucking whatever, though. Anti-glasses influencer defends herself against backlash after TikToker infiltrates her class. That is not allowed. Guys.
TikToker is so funny, too.
Guys. There's this lady who's like, has a class, and she's purporting to say that if you have glasses, which I am wearing right now.
Sure, I wear glasses as well.
If you have glasses, you don't need them. You don't need them. Mm-mm. There are things you can do. Yeah. Spiritual things.
Huff some oil.
Mental things. Physical things you can do to fix yourself of the belief that you need those glasses.
Yeah.
The reason
Christ.
reason you need glasses. So Cecil, the reason that I need glasses is not because when I was 18, my friend shot me in my left eye with a BB gun and damaged the optic nerve in my left eye. That is the reason I've been told by the man that I need glasses. Now, granted, I will say that the belief that I need glasses is so strong that when I close my right eye and try to look through my left eye, I can't see fucking anything. I can't read your shirt from here.
Yeah.
Like you are wearing a shirt. I happen to know what it says. Literally no way I could read that.
No way you could read it.
It's just a blue smudge.
Yeah. Tom, did you huff any oil though before you tried to do it?
And I didn't. And that's the problem.
Get a Febreze cup and like hold it. Actually, just pull it. What you do is you get one of those Febreze like things that you stick in the outlet that shits the scent out into your house.
Yes, yeah.
And then you just
the Glade plug and stinks or whatever.
Pull a fucking stinky piece of paper off of it and then use it like a oxygen mask. And then guess what? You could see stars. Is what you'll see. You'll see fucking stars. You'll see before you pass out from the smell of that. No, this person is one of those people who's just trying to make a buck off people.
Yes.
And so what they're saying is, hey, I want to sell you something. They're going to sell them something. And they sold a class. They had a class, and this person on TikTok put a fake name in there and then started recording it and posting it because it was insanity. This person is just basically like, all you got to do is put it on your vision board. I know you can't read it. I know you can't read your vision board.
Your braille board.
You gotta, whatever you got to do, stand really far back from your vision board.
Right.
If you're farsighted, you want to stay far back.
She, at one point, the lady who's giving this fucking nonsense class on bullshit is like, yeah, you gotta put some essential oils all up in your eyeballular area.
Lick your own eye was one of the things. Like spit in your own eye.
Spit in your own eye. Spit in it.
Spit in your own eye.
Spit in it.
What is this? Is Lauren Boebert at the theater again?
And she just so happens to be like an MLM salesperson of these essential oils. Yeah. She's getting a fucking twofer out of this.
Yeah, man. She made a class. She pretended to make a class to be somebody who knows what she's talking about. And then she's now selling all these essential oils that'll help you change your vision or whatever.
And then when she got in trouble for this, she tried to clap back.
Yeah.
And her clap back is fucking absurd. So here's her clap back. First of all, she posts a whole bunch of links. Studies on essential oils and vision / eye health. So I want to actually tell you what these studies are, because I was like, man, that's like a fucking jumble fuck. So here's what is supposed to be studies on essential oils and vision / eye health. The first one is the effects of aromatherapy on sleep improvement. Nothing to do with eye health.
Well, my eyes are closed while I'm sleeping, Tom.
Fair enough.
Okay.
You got me. I'm wrong.
Okay.
I'm wrong.
Just saying.
Aromatherapy for the management of symptoms in dementia. So I could see.
Sure.
No. The effect of aromatherapy on anxiety and sleep quality of percutaneous coronary intervention patients, a randomized controlled study. It investigates the effects of aromatherapy on anxiety and sleep quality in patients undergoing medical procedures. Then the next one, comparative evaluation of anti-inflammatory activity of curcuminoids, turmerones, and aqueous extract of curcuma longa, published in the journal, whatever, who cares. This study examined the anti-inflammatory effects of various compounds found in something. What does that have to do with my eyes? The effects of inhalation aromatherapy with damask rose. The research is published, explores the effects of aromatherapy on pain management following surgery. And finally, a fucking stupid ass study on assessing the antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and anti-cancer properties of essential oils from herbs, including rose oil. None of that has, even her clapback proof.
Yeah.
Literally does not relate to the eye. At one point, to try to draw how spurious her connections are, she's like, oh, that study has to do with sleep, and sleep's essential for eye health. Yeah, like if I don't sleep, my eyes are going to get all dried out, and that won't be good for my eyeballs. So I should rub some fucking organ oil or whatever in
she
there.
just got caught. Like
She
you
did.
just got caught. Like you were lying and you got caught, and she tried to clap back, and then she's like kind of like cyber stalking the person who's
She does. She tries to like get her husband to like friend the person.
Yeah,
that like TikTok.
She's mad. She's seriously mad. And she also wears glasses. I don't understand what's happening.
Well, she doesn't believe. She needs you to buy more essential oils so she can afford the essential oils she needs.
You know what I wanted
to rub in her eyes?
I wanted to see if there was some way I could have my computer monitor, because most of the time I need my glasses on my computer monitor, right? That's when I need my glasses. I need to put my glasses on when I'm at my computer monitor. I wish there was some way I could like fuzz it up so it fuzzed right, so I could just look at it, and then I wouldn't need glasses anymore. But I don't think that's possible.
I don't know if that's possible.
I don't think you
either.
can fuzz it up correctly.
Like, can I adjust the thing I'm looking at and not what I'm using to look at it?
I don't think you could fuzz it up correctly.
Well, what you could do is what I do when I forget my glasses upstairs or whatever, and I'm working on my computer, is I just like increase font size.
Oh
like
yeah,
300%.
you can increase it.
Yeah.
Huge. And then you could smash your face up against it. Those are other options.
Rub my eyes on it like I'm a
There's
cat.
other options. Well, it's good for eye health, Tom.
It is. It's great for eye health. There's a study about it, guys. There's a link to a study about nothing else.
So if you missed it, this last Thursday, we did a live stream. So you can go check it out on YouTube. I don't know if we had fun because it happens in the future.
We're going to have fun maybe in 20 minutes.
Who knows? But we definitely did a live stream. So come check it out. It's on our YouTube page. All the episodes are still posting on YouTube. They haven't come after us for anything recently.
Yay!
So we're still in good standing at least. So you can always check out our episodes on YouTube as well. Okay, that is going to wrap it up for this week. We'll be back this upcoming Thursday for a patron-only show. So if you're a patron, you can check out on Patreon. You'll get a Thursday drop this week. And we'll be back the following Monday for everyone else. But we're going to leave you like we always do with the Skeptic's Creed.
Credulity is not a virtue. It's fortune cookie cutter, mommy issue, hypno-Babylon bullshit. Couched in scientician, double bubble, toil and trouble, pseudo quasi alternative, acupunctuating, pressurized, stereogram, pyramidal, free energy healing, watered downward spiral, brain deadpan sales pitch, late night info docutainment. Leo, Pisces, cancer cures, detox, reflex, foot massage, death and towers, tarot cards, psychic healing, crystal balls, Bigfoot, Yeti, aliens, churches, mosques and synagogues, temples, dragons, giant worms, Atlantis, dolphins, truthers, birthers, witches, wizards, vaccine nuts, shaman healers, evangelists, conspiracy, doublespeak, stigmata, nonsense. Expose your sides. Thrust your hands, bloody, evidential, conclusive. Doubt even this.
The opinions and information provided on this podcast are intended for entertainment purposes only. All opinions are solely that of Glory Hole Studios, LLC. Cognitive Dissonance makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, currentness, suitability, or validity of any information and will not be liable for any errors, damages, or butthurt arising from consumption. All information is provided on an as-is basis. No refunds. Produced in association with the local Dairy Council and viewers like you.